Okay, guys, so welcome back to Teen Muscle Radio and episode 4. So, today I am very lucky to be joined by a very special guest today, and I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that are pumped to hear this. So, be sure to stick around, and my guest today is Tyler Cooke. So, before I say anything about Tyler, I'm going to let him introduce himself as per usual. So, Tyler, go ahead and describe to the audience who you are and why you're here today.
Yeah, cool, man. Thanks for that kind introduction. That was a bit, that was nice. So I'm Tyler. I'm 20. Recently turned 20. I work as a coach at an awesome facility, New Era Fitness and Performance. Got some cool photos of that going on the internet. We've got our own page and stuff. Check that out.
Nice.
I'm from the Wirral, so it's not Liverpool.
Okay.
It's definitely not Liverpool. It's close enough. So, and I've been involved in bodybuilding. I like to say 4 months.
Okay.
Well, 3 years,
Wow.
3.5 years.
Nice.
You know how it is, man. We always say, "Oh, I've only trained 6 months." After you've learned what to do and whatever else.
No, I
You've only trained about 10 years.
Yeah. All right. Good. So yeah, I mean, as I've said, prior to your introduction, there's going to be a lot of people that are pumped to hear this. You've got a big following, and I really think that we're going to be able to give your following a good idea of more about you, get you behind the camera, and really discuss some topics that might not have been so evident through your social media, which is quite cool. So yeah, really excited to have you on, Tyler, and it's good to hear from you again. I haven't seen you
Thanks,
for a while. If viewers might not know, but me and Tyler competed against each other back in 2014 at the BNBF finals.
A while ago now.
And that image that you see on the topic of this video was actually Tyler at the BNBF finals. Yeah, really cool
Want a good
stuff.
photo of me?
Right.
Best one.
So, as we usually do on Teen Muscle Radio, we're going to let Tyler really take us back to the start. We want to get every person that we want to get on this show is going to be someone that's obviously started as a teen and built their physique through the teenage years, and Tyler has very much done so. So, I'd like to know, Tyler, sort of where did it all begin? How did you get into the gym itself?
Well, gym environment-wise, I think the first time I went was about 16.
Okay.
So obviously, I don't think in the UK, I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but you've got to be over 16 to use free weights in most gyms. Before that, I did some kickboxing a year or so.
Okay.
That was cool, but it never ended up being for me. Started in the gym, 16. You know how it is, man. I was doing push-ups on dumbbells. I was doing, I think we were doing leg raises where you punch each other in the stomach. All the crazy shit you see on the internet, but it's never any good for you. We're doing all that. So, I never knew I'd have competed. I never would have known I'd have grown at all.
Wow.
Really. So that's always interesting when I tell people that. I mean, I started off as about 10 stone, man. You can always look back at my pictures, anyone watching, and you'll see that.
You were really quite small, weren't you? Yeah.
Scrawny, man. I was about 10 stone. And
that's interesting.
It wasn't in shape either. So I never seen this coming, which was always interesting.
Yeah, that's mad. So what initially got you into the gym? You mentioned kickboxing. Was it as a performance-related thing? So did you go into the gym to improve your kickboxing, or did you start as a result of wanting to improve your physique? Which one was it?
When I think back on it now, it's quite a weird question, because I don't actually know what started me back. I think a couple of the lads were going to the gym.
Okay.
Well, way before me. A couple of lads were going to the gym. It was the thing. My girlfriend started the gym, and I was like, it was near my school. My school has a gym near it, and it was crappy public gym.
Yeah.
But I just went there, did all crazy shit, didn't have no structure whatsoever.
Okay.
And kind of that was it. I mean, there was no goal. There was no nothing in sight for me there. It was just literally started out, see what happens.
Yeah. Interesting. So you mentioned it was at a school gym. Now, did you go on your own when you first started, or did you go with a bunch of bigger people, or your girlfriend? Who did you go with?
Oh man, you'll know this one. I'm sure you've seen it before. Anyone watching as well? 5 or 6 people train at once, one machine. rotating through. It was that kind of thing. I mean, we just went. But I was kind of lucky as well because starting off in that environment, in the way everything was, I didn't have no access to free weights.
Yeah.
It was kind of just all strict machines. There was no. I'd never touched a bench press until I'd trained for about a year.
Wow.
Which is interesting. I'd never touched a squat rack again since training for a whole year. So I found for me that may have been a cool little advantage in starting out because I'd never been able to fuck myself up. If you know what I mean, I'd never really been just let loose with no knowledge whatsoever, let onto a bar, let onto a squat rack with no knowledge.
Yeah.
So I kind of got lucky there because I mean, with the sit-up crunches, punching each other and things like that, who God knows what I would have done if I was given a bar and a bunch of weights.
So did you start like training full body or just like upper body? Was it upper body pump or what happened?
Oh man,
you train legs?
It was. I'll tell you my first workout now, man, for sure, because I was thinking about this before. It was chins, which is fantastic. I'm glad I did them.
Yeah, good job.
I could do them.
Yeah.
I could do them. It was those push-ups on dumbbells. So for all those anti-stabilization gains, obviously the knee-ups, holding onto a dip bar, getting punched. And man, it was just weird shoulder machine, which I don't even remember what it was now. It was crap. And that was it. I mean, I rotated through that a couple of times. We were just finding weird shit on the internet. Let's do this, let's do that. There was no structure whatsoever for a long time in my training.
Okay. Now, so you mentioned the internet. So did you find like your first sort of workout programs through the internet, and how, like looking back on it now, how decent were they? Was it good advice? Was it basic advice, or where would you go now if you had the resources that you do?
I think where I went was bodybuilding.com.
Okay.
And I didn't go to the posts and pages because obviously you type bodybuilding.com, they've got it nailed. They're the first website that comes up.
Yeah.
In regards to bodybuilding, but a lot of the things I did is I posted in the forums, and that is not a mistake. I don't make mistakes, regrets, but I posted in there, man, and people will tell you this is right, this is right, this is wrong, and I did end up taking up the bro split in the end. That was the first thing that I kind of seen. That's what they called it, where you just train one body part every day, and that's obviously where I was forced to train legs eventually. But starting out wise, I'd honestly, it's hard, man, because when you first join the gym, you don't know where to go. There's no kind of like set, guys, obviously me and you, we know a lot of awesome coaches, we know a lot of awesome kind of motivators, but people joining in, it's hard for them to find a good platform. So that's why I say, look at some of the top guys, go on some of the top guys' pages and things like that. Who am I thinking? I was reading a lot of Jim Stepani when I started out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Jim Stepani,
Chris
Gethin, 5x5, things like that.
Yeah.
But, bro split was where it was at, man, for me when I started out.
For sure. So before I get on to like some questions on sort of like how your training developed and how your nutrition developed, I want to know, because your physique like almost inspires me, and I'm sure it inspires many, and I think I really want to know how quickly you noticed your physique changing, because I'm imagining, like, you came from a scrawny guy. I'm imagining you were an incredibly good responder to weight. So how quickly was it, and when did it really click? Like, what sort of clicked when you started making progress?
Well, the first thing that I noticed when I started training normal gyms was I got leaner, a noticeable leaner. Me, obviously, put me into a calorie deficit immediately by the new expended energies. Obviously, I was nailing the whey protein within 10 minutes after a workout. Didn't want to lose any gains. So that was helping. But yeah, I didn't notice, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't notice much thickness for the first 3 years. And that sounds quite weird, but obviously I put on a lot of mass real quick. I think the first year I trained was 58 pounds. And you can look at some of my pictures, and there's not much fat in there whatsoever. And that's when I was on bodybuilding.com, and that's where a lot of my following built, was because of people hating on me, saying I wasn't
I remember that.
natural, and it's understandable,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a massive thing, and I was just thinking, I was stupid for posting at the time, but I was just thinking, wow, I tell all these people I've gained 60 pounds, 57 pounds, and they're going to be impressed. But the reaction was kind of the opposite. It was more just like, stop boasting about you, things like that. So. That was the first year. The second year, again, we know the law of diminishing returns. I think it went even crazier.
Yeah.
Because I started out 155.
Okay.
155 pounds. I got to about 180 in a year.
And you were still fairly same body fat.
Yeah, same body fat pretty much. And then half a year later, that's when I competed with the BMBF. So I competed a year and a half, going from no training to obviously competing with the BMBF. And that was where I was at then.
Okay, sure. That's mad, and I'm sure for a lot of people they'll be thinking, wow, that really sounds like a lot more than your average scientific-based person would say. Okay, gain like this at this rate at this sort of time period. And it's funny,
Yes.
me and the previous guest, Jack Gadd, were talking about how it could possibly be beneficial, and there could be some merit to younger guys just eating in a good surplus and putting on like slightly more weight than would be deemed ideal. But in your case, you actually put on more weight than deemed ideal, and you also stayed pretty damn lean, which is quite incredible.
And I hate to admit it, bro. I know it's fantastic, but obviously being a coach now for a couple of years, maybe 2.5 years, and the experience I've had with most people, me telling them my experience doesn't necessarily help, because I ate a lot of shit, man. I mean, Jack Gadd was mentioning his really love for some crazy calorie-dense foods.
Yes.
I ate, like, anything. Like, I still, in my off-seasons, 4 liters of milk a day. That's kind of like just my thing. I'll eat loads more than that too, but that's just like a staple.
Wow.
Which for a lot of people, and I've had a few people firsthand try this stuff and they turn into a mess.
Yeah.
So it's not great. It's not great me pushing that kind of thing. So anyone watching, don't think that's how you've got to go.
That's the secret.
Obviously, you inspire me a lot in the sense that it's a slow process. You've got to respect the science. Obviously, if you're going to gain 57 pounds, it's going to happen, whether you're doing things right or wrong. So it's not something you want to be shooting for. It's not really a realistic goal to have. You know how it is, man.
Yeah. So you mentioned briefly your nutrition there, which I'm very interested in. So how did, obviously from the first session you had the first session in that sort of gym at the school. So how did what sort of clicked when you gained some structure and your nutrition was on point? Like, what did your training and nutrition look like when you flipped the switch from being a guy that was being punched in the abs to being the guy that was putting on, potentially 20, 30 pounds, 40 pounds of solid muscle?
Yeah, so this all happened, basically, I'll tell you now, the first gym I went to was a council gym.
Okay.
Then the next gym I went to was a council gym. Again, no experience with the proper gym, still had no bars. This is about a year in. I met a guy, I'll name him out, his name's Janis, he's a cool guy, goes to Oxford University. He said to me, let's go try this gym. He goes to this gym, Rockies it's called, really hardcore place, really dingy, man. You've probably seen some of the videos of me training there.
Yeah,
absolute
awesome.
tip. Yeah, but it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going there, man. I'm not fit in. It's not going to be my thing. But blow and mold, I ended up going April 2013. That was about when I joined.
Wow.
And man, being introduced to a free weight bar, loads of bodybuilders in there, a load of cool naturals in there, really, actually, champion bodybuilders with the BNBF and MPA.
Nice.
So I was introduced to an environment in which I could really facilitate this mass I was building, this genetic ability that I had.
Yeah.
Oh man, we had awesome bars available to me. I was like, wow, I remember the first time I squatted. So there was still a big learning curve for me there, but like you say, when I flipped the switch would have been when I got introduced to competing. As soon as I walked in the gym, I was like to this guy, his name was Luke Paws, I was like, when do I compete?
Yeah.
Luckily for me, man, he's a good guy, so he didn't just go, here's the next show, go do it. He said, don't compete yet.
Give time.
Give yourself a year. Yeah, exactly, man. Give yourself a year. Didn't want to not embarrass myself, but just didn't want to push me in too early. He said, you can end up ruining the passion for bodybuilding by, really driving for a show.
Yeah.
So then I waited, and then I learned then the stuff, learn how it was going, put a split together, which is still the split I use today, funnily enough, with all the research and things I've done and trying different things. Still use the bro split.
Yeah.
5 days training, 2 days off.
Okay. So what does that look like in terms of body parts? Run us through a normal week.
So normal weeks, I rest Mondays because it's my busiest day in work. Tuesday I'll do chest, triceps, back. It's going to be Wednesday, back and biceps Wednesday. I rest Thursdays. I hit shoulders on Fridays. Hit shoulders today. Tomorrow I hit arms. Saturday I hit Sunday I hit legs, and then repeat.
Wow.
And to be honest with you, man, it's interesting because I've tried a lot of splits. I've tried push-pull legs. I really want to do it. The science is really backing it. All the top guys are doing it. But I just can't. Every time I do it, for some reason, it just doesn't feel right. So I'm still working on that.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel, I know we're going on a tangent, but it's cool to roll with it. Do you feel under-recovered as a result of push-pull legs?
Yeah, that's what I feel. I might just be being quite a coward, but I do feel like I'm not getting I do feel like I'm quite heavy-duty. I've always loved heavy-duty training, and I feel like if I do push-pull legs, I can't detach my mindset from that, so I can't just keep the volume, if you know what I mean.
So you're thinking about, I've got to hit pull next day
Yeah,
or something. Yeah,
yeah. You put me on a bench, man, and I'm going to want to do some heavyweight with some good form. If you put me on a bench twice a week, I'm going to do some heavyweight with some good form, and
yeah, no, for
it
sure.
never seems to work well. I am working on it though, man. That's going to be my next evolution. It's going to get a better, more volumized split going on because that's what I do want to evolve into.
For sure, for sure. So we've mentioned training there. So what did your was there a massive switch from going to Tyler, the guy who was working out at the gyms, just started, to Tyler, the bodybuilder, and what was that change like in nutrition perspective? What did it look like?
So I've got to give a lot of credit here to like that guy Luke Porter that I mentioned.
Sure.
He was my first bodybuilding diet. I didn't know about macros this time when I was training, so this is a year and a half in. Didn't know about macros.
Okay.
He just hooked me up with a diet, prepped me for my show, and that was it then. And I noticed I'd grown. I noticed things changed. Unfortunately for me, obviously you competed with me, AJ. You know how everything went my season. Unfortunately for me, I kind of realized I learned a lesson from Steve McDonald, and that's you've got to train back, you've got to train legs, you've got to train shoulders, because I just didn't commit the intensity there. So the nutrition was great, but I think training for me is a recent thing, like in the last year and a half where I've really kicked it up. But the nutrition, I'd say a year and a half in, 2014 is when I really upped the game nutrition-wise. I was eating like a bodybuilder, so you'd say, 8 meals a day, that kind of thing.
So what So was that really, really structured in terms of the way you were eating? Was eating patterns structured from the start, or when you I want to know about this massive this initial gaining phase. Was that structured, or was that your own doing? And what would an average day look like?
So the first year and a half of my training.
Yeah.
So I love also bodybuilding. You know me. As soon as I heard Arnold drank milk, that was it. I was on it. So for me, a typical day. Still, 3 years ago, it would have been something stupid like I'll wake up, I'll have like 8 eggs on toast, really basic meals, but really excessive, like just piled on. I'd have that. Yeah, I'd train. I'd have like 2 scoops of protein, and then I'd have, as well as that, I'd have my 2 liters of milk. That 2 liters of milk later on in the day. I'd eat. I'm known as the chippy man. I'd have incredible amounts of chippies because they were just dense. They were tasty. I'd get them in. I wasn't proud of it, but that massive caloric surge is obviously what I needed to get my initial, grow on.
Sure. So, what would you recommend? Coming to the end of the first topic in terms of how you got into the gym and everything. When looking back, so from the start till sort of when you decided to compete, would there be anything that you'd go back and think, man, if I was like a teenager now starting, I would change that drastically? Obviously, it went incredibly well for you, so I can't imagine there's much you'd want to change. But what would be your main tip for the people that are watching this and thinking, I want to be like Tyler?
Yeah, I can't complain much. I've been dealt a good hand in that sense. I did make a lot of mistakes, but obviously I can't complain. But if I would have done something, it'd have been the first month, just look at some knowledgeable guys. And like I said to you before, it's hard to find them because when you're totally alien to the fitness world, you don't know who a big name is, who a big name isn't. You know what I mean? That's why you got people following Mike Chang, because you type in 6-pack on YouTube, there you go. So for them and for me, if I was start again, I'd find some big names. I'd then start looking at I'd get a good split going on. I'd get my nutrition sorted out. Macros, man, I'd say macros is one of the most important fundamentals at the very beginning.
Macros,
Exactly, man. Create a good surplus. Depending on genetic capability, you can go a bit further, push your envelope a bit more. Some people can't. And then get a good, solid training program, man. And the one thing, man, that I wish I did, the only thing really, is a lower rep range. I mean, and with big compounds. I never did that until the last year. Yeah, I never did that until the last year. I really haven't. I'd love to have introduced 4 to 6 reps. Really focus on my strength and my compound lifts. That would have been a massive thing for me. Spend less time on the chest machines and actually use some big compound movements.
Okay, interesting. Cool. Thank you very much for that. That's cool, and I'm sure a lot of people will take away those points. So moving on, we've touched on it sort of already, but I'd really like to know how you initially decided that it was the right time. So you competed in 2014, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to know when did you decide that you want to turn this bodybuilding switch on?
Yeah, well, I always knew I wanted to do it, try it out. And you know what? It's quite weird for me, man, because I didn't have a lot of confidence when I was younger. I I used to play football, never played because I was just too scared to get the ball. So for me to go and get in a pair of trunks in front of 500 people covered in chocolate was a drastic difference.
Yeah,
But I was surprised at that myself, man. I was like, wow, I'm actually going to go forward with this. But I was in a good environment, so all the guys were like, "You ready to compete? You know, you can do some damage." I didn't believe it. I
so you had
remember
the
who was I
confidence
looking.
from them, yeah.
Yeah, they gave me the confidence, man. I mean, I remember looking. I can't remember his name now. Competitor for the BNBF, and I was like, holy shit! A teen. I was like, holy shit, this guy's insane. And I was just like, wow, I ain't got no chance against this guy. And then obviously I competed, and I remember, my confidence wasn't great, but looking at other competitors was a big head fuck for me. I'm not going to do that again.
Snap.
Yeah, I bet you know the same, man.
Yeah,
Just don't do that stuff. So yeah, they gave me the confidence in it to get involved and then commit to the competition.
Yeah.
As soon as I put the dates in, I told everyone, my family. Once you've told your family, if you go back on it, you kind of like, you can't go back on it. Basically, you've made that step. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
so
committed.
Did you get a coach for the first season? Did you get a coach, and did they help you out?
Well, like I said, that guy Luke Porter, he was my coach. He was my coach, my first ever coach. I didn't pay him or anything like that. He's a good guy, so he said to me, and he was just like, you're going to do well. I just want you to do it right, kind of thing. Which is lucky of me, because he competed, and as you know, people that have done it as well. They've just competed, not knowing anything about bodybuilding, not knowing what condition you need to actually be in, and just jumped on stage. And he says, you don't want that happening again. You don't want to experience that. So
for sure. Had you ever been to a show prior to you thinking that bodybuilding was a good idea? Like, how did you find out that sort of? I know there was people in your gym, but how did you find out that it would be something? Because obviously confidence was an issue. How did you find out that you were like, yeah, okay, this is something, I really, really want to do? Did you see it on TV or anything like that?
It's weird, man. I put a lot of faith in Arnold. It seems insane, but I love him and I still do. Yeah. I was just like, that's the way I've got to do it. If I want to, chase that vision, that's what I've got to do. I've got to get on the stage, see what it's about first,
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So you've been through this massive sort of gaining phase, and you're still in relatively good condition, and you know that you've built a good amount of muscle mass. What changed as a result for your prep? So what sort of weight did you start? And what initial changes, like what was diet, training, cardio like for this prep? Give people an idea of what your first bodybuilding prep looked like.
So I started off the prep, I think 14 stone 4, which is 200 pounds. That was a massive goal for me. I was like, wow, I'm 200 pounds. I was so happy with that. I've actually got a picture of me standing on the scale. Like I took a picture of that. And you know what? I'll tell you, like, it was in the evening as well, so I was waiting all day to try and make sure I hit 200 pounds. Yeah. And I hit that, and then I dieted down on stage. The BNBF British, I was about 12 stone 1. Wow. So that's pretty heavy, but obviously I wasn't massively peeled. Mm-hmm. But that's still pretty heavy. I mean, the shift immediately in mindset was massive. My training, unfortunately, like I said, I didn't know much about it, so I was just like, to me, being more motivated is just to smash it, get a bigger pump, train for longer, kill it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cardio, I think we just stuck with the Stairmaster once we introduced it like 5 times, the classic 30-minute Stairmaster kind of thing. The diet, man, if I can remember now correctly, it was literally a proper bodybuilder, a classic bodybuilder's diet, as you'd imagine, like what you think of, like chicken, your vegetables, oatmeal, the classic, you love the oats, peanut butter, whey, cottage cheese, I'm trying to think, bananas after training, kind of like a good mix of eggs. Yeah, thanks for that, Jade. Eggs are a massive one as well. A really basic diet. I ate 8 times a day.
Right. Okay.
Which I would. Was
that a difference to your initial, like your gaining phase? Was that a difference?
Oh, massive, man.
This structure.
It was the first time I put myself in someone else's hands. So for me, I was just like, I'm just going to do what he says, see what happens, kind of thing. So I was all for it. Right now, I eat like 5 meals. I would never eat 8 again.
Sure.
I even in my gaining phase back in the, when I was about 16, 17, when I put all that muscle on, it was about 5 meals, 4 meals a day, but they were massive meals.
Yeah,
if you make 5 1,000 calorie meals, you're there.
Easy.
You've made it.
For sure. Interesting. Cool. So what would you say what made you choose the BNBF? Was it your coach, or what happened? Like, how did you find out about the BNBF?
Oh, man. Well, my coach competed in the BNBF.
Okay.
He'd done a few shows with them. And I'd actually been to an MPA show. So I decided I was going to do a show, and then I went to some shows. So it was kind of backwards, but I did go to a show 12 weeks out, and it was an MPA. I think it was the Yorkshire.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, they're a good federation, not taking nothing away from them, but BMBF, man, I was like, that is the pinnacle. They're the best natural federation, you know what I mean?
The
if you want to do one,
etc.
Do the best one. The lighting, Guy does an incredible job with that lighting. Like I said, I'll never replicate that photo again. So that was where I needed to be. I seen the stage, I was like, that's where I need to be. That's the best. They're the best for me. I wanted to compete with the best. So.
Yeah. And how long was your preparation for that first show? How long did it last?
About 20 weeks, 25 weeks.
So still
it was no.
That was a pretty long prep. I was expecting you to say something like 12 or something.
Yeah, I think I remember 25 weeks out, I was like, I've got 25 leg sessions left. That was like my thing. I was working from then. So, and then obviously we did the Brits as well, so that's another 6. So it wasn't massive prep in the end.
Yeah, decent. So, obviously there's going to be a lot of teenagers watching this that think, oh, okay, I might compete in the BMBF, I might do a natural show. What did you find difficult about it that was really sort of a massive change for you in terms of from this big muscle gain phase, being relaxed about your training, relaxed about your eating?
Yeah.
What did you find about it that you really maybe sort of found difficult, you maybe didn't even like about it? Describe those nitty-gritty bits.
I find this will interest a lot of people, is I didn't like competing that much at all.
Wow.
On stage, I wasn't a massive fan. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you more about that in a sec, but the eating wise, I found it difficult. I love eating, Me and my girlfriend have been together for nearly 8 years, so we always enjoy like takeaways and things at the weekend, and that was a massive shift. Yeah. So that was big. That was stressing me out a lot. Not able to, eat whatever you want, do whatever you want. You can't really go to the cinema without even thinking about popcorn. Yeah, exactly. And have a chippy and some pork pies and stuff like that. So they're a classic Balkan staple. I found that difficult. The diet was difficult. I didn't find the training difficult until maybe a week out, because then it's you suffer and things like that. But I loved training before that, because I used to love getting pumped, checking myself out. And you feel fantastic about yourself, man. You know how it is. It's a great feeling. Show wise though, and I'll say this to everybody, you've got to try it once. If you're interested in bodybuilding, you've got to try it once. I didn't particularly like it because obviously my confidence was a thing, but I haven't said this much, but at the BMBF Brits backstage, if you could have said to me, you can go, I'd have gone. Like, no joke, no lie to you, I would have left and not competed.
I remember seeing you backstage.
Because I seen Armandus, Liam, John, a couple of guys, yourself, I can't remember his name, obviously Steve McDonald, a couple of guys. I was like, wow, I'm coming 5th. I was like, if I'm lucky, I'll take 5th, I'll go now. I'd have went, and I'm still saying that, I'd have went, and I got out through the back door.
Oh, it was Dale, the other guy, Dale Bett.
Dale Bett was killer.
Yeah.
So, I remember, and James Dodd, I was like looking at his back, I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
But, these things, I was like, wow, I'd have walked away there. And then obviously getting the result that I did, I was like, this is a big mind game for me. I didn't really know what to think. And as well, I love old school bodybuilding. So for me, like, I think today's condition standards are a bit beyond where I'd want to be. It's a weird thing to say, but that's just my philosophy on it. I think today's condition standards, although I respect it, I just think Arnold's day was so much cooler, where they'd stay in that condition year round, not suffer, jump on a stage. Yeah, they hold a lot of mass. They look a lot fuller. Obviously, they're nowhere near as detailed as some of the guys. I mean, even some of the teens probably.
I know,
some killer teens out there.
Now,
yeah, nasty conditioning. So for me, I was like, it's not me just shying away from the diet. I was just like, I really didn't. The result I got from the work I put in, I was like, I felt better. A bit fuller, a bit, bigger, and
yeah, for sure.
That's something that's going to hinder me probably in the future, competitive wise.
Okay, interesting. That's interesting to hear for sure. Is there anything that you would change drastically about that first year, or would you say that that was the ideal first year for you? Did you have any sort of massive expectations?
I can't. Like I said, we said before, I can't really moan about how I've done in the time that I've had. But obviously, being critical as we are as bodybuilders, I probably would have tried to dig a bit deeper on the cardio because, I mean, my training wasn't really good in the end. Tried to dig a bit deeper on the cardio, try to train a bit harder, really peel away the body fat. Because, man, like I said to you about being full, I really didn't like feeling emaciated. I didn't like feeling flat. Obviously, no one does, but I really did. I was like, it was making me miserable.
Yeah.
But I wish now I just grit and bear it, kept digging. And I probably, hopefully, with the feedback that I had from the Brits, I hopefully would have taken that as well.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a regret, but it's a lesson as well that will keep me going for the future.
Transfer over. Okay, interesting. Thank you. So, before we move on to sort of final topic, what would your top tip be for anyone that's watching this that wants to get into competing? What would your top tip be in terms of how they can start, or whether you'd even advise a teenager to compete?
Yeah, I'd make sure that you enjoy bodybuilding, and as well, make sure you get someone that's going to advise you that's got a brain. That's not just in it for your money. That's not just in it. They're actually in it for you as a friend, or even just as a good coach. There's a lot of good coaches out there that kind of know if they push you into a competition and you're not ready, visually or mentally, that they could end up destroying your future in bodybuilding. Yeah. And that for me is a massive thing. I'd make sure if you're going to do a comp, ask someone else's opinion. It seems like a weird thing to do, but someone else is always a good thing in bodybuilding, especially to make a decision like that with you.
For sure. That's a good. I totally agree with that point. I think that a lot of people rush into it. A lot of people start too early. Like you said, Luke advised you that you should take a good gaining period. You had a massive gaining period. You put on a lot of size, and you probably wouldn't have done so well if you had just hopped in. And you probably would have sacrificed.
I might have even never competed again, man.
There we go.
I may not have even done a good season.
See, the thing is, I think it's a very good point to raise, and the reason why I sort of kept plugging questions at you is because you mentioned that you enjoyed your training up until like 1 week. 1 week out, maybe it was a little bit harder. Like, if you continued pushing and possibly got into slightly better condition, granted, you could have pulled like a few more pounds off, but you might have sacrificed your love of training. And this is what a lot of people will find, is that they haven't really got into training yet, but they diet for a bodybuilding show and they suddenly hate training. Yeah. And that's really important.
you haven't even experienced what training's about. And
living the bro life.
You're already crushing yourself. Yeah, you're already crushing yourself down to compete.
Sure. Very good point. I'm glad we brought that up. So, last topic we're going to discuss is really more about how your social media is blowing up. And you mentioned the forums, which is really interesting because that's something I've never delved into, and I believe that was something that happened sort of in the past, but not so much the past, because although Instagram and Facebook and things like that are blown up recently, the blogs aren't so far in the distance, like they're not so far behind. So I'm interested to know, like, how did it all start, and what sort of happened for you to become this sort of like role model that a lot of people follow you, man. A lot of people follow you.
It's getting, and man, I'll be honest, I'm not lazy, but I don't do much social media wise. I don't push much. I think, and I'm an honest person, I'm not going to make out I'm some sort of Gary Vaynerchuk. My social media has literally came from me being a part of a niche that I chose to be in at the right time. I mean, back in 2014, I was already set on this whole golden era thing. This was like exactly what I wanted. It was on my Instagram then. It was coming up. It's massive now. I mean, I also, then I competed. A couple of cool shots I had obviously got pushed on by a couple of big, Old School Physiques page was like 200k likes on Facebook. That was a massive thing for me at 18 to be getting featured with an old school page. So they were taking notice. I did post on the forums. I don't know if that helped me out much or not. So for anyone watching, I don't know if it's a great thing to do. Okay. The forums are normally full of a lot of people that I got nothing really but hate on the forums. When I posted some big transformations, I had it's deleted off bodybuilding.com now because it was just getting a bit silly. It was about 60 pages of people just like, posting like juice gifts and things like that. No. It was funny to look at, but at the same time, at 18, you're hoping that people go, wow, man, you're doing good. Yeah. Things like that. And as well, the forums as well. I'm going on a tangent here, but at 17, 16, when I was posting pictures and I had people commenting going, you shit, you got no structure, you're not going to do well at all. Honestly, man, I had some crazy ones, and you can probably still find them. But people are like, oh, you got no structure whatsoever, you're not going to do well at all, give up, stop, it's a pipe dream. And this is legit. I mean, Jade knows I've seen these posts. She was commenting on a few as well, actually offending me a bit. But then I had these guys like, I think I was like, I have 16-inch arms at 16. I actually said this is a legit. I said I'm gonna have 18-inch arms at 18, 19-inch arms at 19, and 20 at 20.
Yeah.
And this guy was like, oh, whatever, man. You know what I mean? And I actually sent him a message, I think it's about 2 months ago. He's never got back to me, but I said, I've got 19-inch arms at 19. In fact, and only 20 points. So, it can happen. Be careful what you say on the internet.
Yeah.
But as I said, that was a tangent. But they're good and bad, the forums. Use them wisely. You can build a good following, helping a lot of the teens out on bodybuilding.com. It's a massive conglomeration of people. So there's a load of people there to talk to you and things like that. But mostly for following wise, luckily I jumped on a niche. I got involved with Artemis Dolgan from Golden Aesthetics. I got involved with Golden Ear Fitness. I got involved luckily because, like, we know about that pitch. I'll tell you about that pitch. It's got me in a lot of places. Thank you, Five Os. They were like, wow, this is cool. We'll post it. It, and it's up progressively. I'm not a massive poster. I want to get a YouTube thing going. That's why a big drive for me to get this done with you was to introduce myself into that world, because I've got the time. But my Instagram, it's just literally worked its way up. Like I said, I jumped on a niche and I've came up with the niche quite luckily, and being the age I was as well, with some of the pictures I was posting, people were a bit blown away by that, which was great. But there's been nothing special that I've done other than find what I love, the old school bodybuilding, and push that, stay with it, stay loyal to it, make everything about it. You know what I mean?
For sure. So you spoke earlier about confidence and how the bodybuilding might not have even boosted your confidence in itself, but do you think having a social media has had a positive or a negative impact on your current levels of confidence?
Yeah, Instagram's had a positive impact.
Okay,
Instagram. When I was getting messages from people like Artemis Dolgan and we were talking, I was like, wow, this is insane. This is exactly what I want. Obviously your confidence has got to be up when you get people like that messaging you and posting up stuff. So it's been great in that aspect, confidence wise. Obviously you get people commenting crap sometimes, but
how do you deal with the negative stuff?
Like I said, man, when I was 16, 17, 18, posted on forums just like, hey, how do I look? Critique my physique, things like that. That's what I post on bodybuilding.com. It's a big thing. And they were like, oh, you're all right, but, don't have no hopes kind of thing. I'm surprised I got through that, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
I am. And after that, nothing really phases you. Once you've seen that you can actually go and do some things and you can win a show and, their opinion is really irrelevant.
Yeah, for sure. So you obviously got into like golden era aesthetics and all of that stuff. And you work as a coach for your profession. Has Instagram and having this huge following, has it helped you in terms of like monetizing the fact that you've got a great following? Have you got people come through for coaching, or do you find that hasn't made a massive impact?
Yeah, online coaching. I do get a lot of people messaging me here and there, asking about prices and what I can do for them and stuff like that. And that, I'm lucky in that sense, because obviously being exposed to a lot of people, you're going to get a lot of people messaging you, wanting to know what you do.
Yeah.
But it's not been massive, man. It hasn't been life changing. I definitely couldn't live off just some Instagram followers right now.
That's good to know.
It's like that Guy Vaynerchuk thing. He says it's kind of like if you have 3,000 followers, you're going to get a larger percentage of them talking to you than if you had 20. You're going to have a less percentage, kind of thing.
It's all about the numbers.
Yeah. Sometimes when you get popular, you're not actually popular. People just follow you because you got high numbers of followers. So it's kind of like they're useless, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's helped me out a bit. I could probably do more with it, and I will in the future. It's something I'm going to delve into.
Yeah, for sure. Good stuff. One more question about the social media stuff and the confidence aspect, and I'm sure a lot of people want to sort of know more about this. You seem to be quite like a hidden individual. Like, don't put many physique pictures up, don't put much training up, and it I tell you what, I don't know whether any other people watching think this, but it intrigues the hell out of me, because I'm always wanting to go on your page to see if there's some update. because I'll post a squat update like every damn day, and it might get a regular people. See, there's two ends of the scale. There's massively frequent and
Yeah,
really
definitely.
infrequent. So you people are interested because they're almost like massively intrigued, like I am. So
Yeah.
give me more details on that. Is that a personal thing, or is that
Ah, it
almost
it's
strategic?
it started out. It's definitely not strategic. It may have become strategic. It
Yeah.
started out, man. I'm bad with timescales, by the way. I don't even know how long I've been training. It started out about 2.5 years ago. I
Okay.
used to train in t-shirts. I used to wear extra, extra small, the smallest shit you could find. It
Yeah.
was like up there on my arm, and I used to love it. I used to wear them no matter what the weather. I was like, this is all t-shirt weather to me.
Yeah.
So that's where that started out. But then one day I thought I watched a Dorian Yates video, and they called him the Shadow, and they were like, no one knows where he is. Like he will be training in Birmingham, and the next thing he's at the Olympia, and everyone's like, "Fuck's sake, he's turned up again." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. I was like, "Why they're all out in California enjoying the sun and wherever he's training, he's not in sight. No one knows what's going on."
Mm.
I thought it was kind of cool, so I put on a hoodie, and this is kind of funny. I have not trained in a hoodie in about 2.5 years. No joke.
Wow.
That is literally, yeah.
That's
It's kind of become
crazy,
a bit weird. Yeah, it's
man.
become a bit weird. You can ask anyone that trains. That's actually legit what I do,
Yeah. No, I
and
know.
that's about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. Do
And
you like? Do you ever like? Because I think it was like Jonah, and it's so funny. This is a regular thing. I don't know whether this is a confidence thing or just like something that teenagers do. But me and Jonah both trained in hoodies, and actually for the majority of like 20, maybe the majority of 2015, before like I don't know, before I competed my first time and I did well and I gained confidence, I was training in a hoodie like all the time. And
yeah,
do you find that it helps you like focus on your training, or what's the massive reason behind that?
yeah. Originally, I just thought, wow, I can't see my physique. This is great. Like I'm not happy. I want to improve. So I was like, if I can hide myself away, I can kind of be like this under construction kind of thing, where I'm imagining what I'm going to
It's
be when I'm
elusive,
not
isn't
it.
it?
Yeah, it's fantastic,
Yeah.
and even now, like you see now, it's for me, it's a bit weird now because like being 18 stone nearly, it's kind of a bit like you can't really hide anything. It's not like I'm hiding much anymore. Everyone's like, I have to try and find some bigger hoodies because they're like,
Yeah.
we can see everything anyway. You may as well wear a t-shirt,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I am at that turning point now where I'm like, I kind of need to stop this. Postage wise on Instagram, man, I don't post in the off season for the simple fact that I don't like to admit it, but I like to be an old school physique. I
Okay.
don't think, although I might be big, I don't think it's an attractive physique to look at,
Oh,
so I
okay.
don't post. You'll find that
Sure.
when I post, it's in a burst of a kind of a couple of weeks because I'm lean. Like I'm getting lean now, right now. I'm dieting down right now, so maybe we'll see some updates. Well, we will in a couple of weeks,
Yes.
and maybe get going, see everything, then disappear for a long time again.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't post if I'm in the off season. It's rare that I do. I mean, I should more. I've been trying to push some more strength photos out there. Like
Yeah.
you see my front squat the other day, I was like, I was like, I need to post
Yeah,
something.
and see the
You
thing
know,
is, like when that came up on my feed, I was like immediately wanting to like it or comment on it, and you could see like the comment thread was long because you haven't been posting for ages, but it has this
yeah,
effect because
yeah,
if there's some people out there that won't post for ages, they'll post something, it'll get absolutely no response. Purely because
hmm
they've been quiet for too long and people have gone off
yeah,
them. You have almost this like this like elusive thing where people are like, if you post, it's gonna
yeah.
like blow off, which is awesome.
I
I think that's so
I
cool to have.
posted that mirror photo, the most likes I've ever on a photo. I'm not that shallow to remember them
Yeah,
exactly, but it's like 1,200 likes, and that for my demographic and what I usually get, that's like double. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it was like, and that was a big thing for me. It was literally the photo must have been the first photo of my physique in about 4 months. You know what I mean? So and I had about 50 comments. So you're all right in that sense. It does. People are still watching, which is great. It's
that's
great
so
to know people
cool.
aren't just abandoning me.
That's really really good. So yeah, would you basically give any massive advice for any teenagers that are looking to grow their social media and move forward on that aspect? Like, what do you think you'd do differently or
Yeah,
change anything?
Be organic. I mean, what I say about old school bodybuilding, and I know this isn't the video for it, but how to build an old school physique. It's not a small waist. It's not wide shoulders. That's bullshit. Anyone tells you that's a liar. It's an old school physique. It's a physique that you've built and you've changed and you've kind of like learned how to pose to show the strengths off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, be organic. Copying people. There's a difference between copying people and like paying homage to people. Take inspiration, but be you and be organic. And like I said, man, I've had my following because I'm quite recognizable, but I'm unique in that aspect. I've built a physique that's like, wow, that's a bit different. He's vacuuming. We don't see that in a while.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of helped me out. If there's anyone out there that's got even a slight hint of idea, like, wow, this is unique about me, that's what you want to be pushing forward.
So
for sure.
niche.
That is your biggest asset.
Something
niche is always good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like Gary Vaynerchuk says. I love Gary V, but it's like play to your strengths. Forget about your weaknesses. Just strengths. If you've got a strength, go all out. Throw that on your social media. That is your ticket. If you try and become a jack of all trades, you're just going to end up like everybody else. And you're not going to stand out to people. It's all about standing out these days, man, on social media, because anyone can make one. You know what I mean?
That's so true. And I think that's why if you do a YouTube or anything like that, it will blow up because you have that niche, you have that leverage. And I think that's really, really cool. You won't just be another one in the ether of YouTubers, which is awesome.
I hope not.
Cool, man. So we're going to wrap up, and I'd like you to give the listeners, give your followers a bit of an idea of what the plans are currently. Say you're dieting down. Is that for anything in particular? Have you got any show plans in the future? Like what's going on with Tyler at the moment?
So I've got a holiday coming up with my girlfriend.
Okay, nice.
That's in about 12, 14 weeks. That's what I'm dieting for.
Okay, cool.
The age we're at show-wise, being 20, it's not a great age to compete because obviously juniors is 23. Well, it will be in NABA where I'll be competing next. So for me to be at a 3-year disadvantage, I want to definitely be sure that I can deliver the package that I want to deliver. Okay. Because to me, bodybuilding isn't about show to show. To me, it's one show, 1 year. That's it. Like my goal is the Mr. Universe to win. I know juniors, hopefully. We've got to set our sights high. Starting with the Mr. England. It could be next year I think it's September.
Okay.
It starts out and then the Universe is October. That's what I'm looking at. I'm going to get lean, obviously, in a couple of weeks. See what's going on. See what kind of mass I've put on. It surely should be something there, I hope. Post some more updates.
I think
Post some more updates, man. Yeah. Post some more updates. That's pretty much it for me. Like I said, I'm looking at the NABA Universe.
Okay.
And obviously got to get past the England first. But that's the thing. And the PCA as well, a great federation coming up. Ryan Alexander's doing a great job with those guys.
Yeah,
some of the prize money's ludicrous. Yeah, so some killer juniors out there as well, man. So I've got to be making sure that, like I said, I'm ready. I don't want to show myself too early and mess up.
Okay.
So I've got we've got 3 years to see what's going to happen.
Interesting. Cool. I'm buzzing to see you when you get back on stage, and I'm sure that's going to be something shocking and something that people will really want to follow, so that's awesome. Finally, mate, link us all up. Tell us where we can find you. If people aren't following you already, I'll be surprised if they're not, but I'm sure there's some people out there that don't know where to find you, so tell us all.
I'm most active Instagram, which is like, Tyler Cookzilla. That should be, pretty easy to find.
Cool.
I'm going to be more active on there. YouTube, it's going to be Tyler Cookzilla again.
Okay,
I'll probably post you on this video just to get it up there, get it around.
Nice.
I don't have my Twitter's there, but I never used that, man. Never really liked Twitter. Never understood it. That's pretty much where I'm at. Obviously, Facebook. Snapchat. It's obviously going to be Cookzilla at Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't have an athlete page.
Okay.
At all yet.
Do you have a coaching page though?
I do have a coaching page, which is Elite SN.
Okay.
Which I'm just started up now. Going to be running some ads and stuff on it and building that up, which is going to be good fun for me.
Great.
As well. So if you want to check, obviously, if anyone's interested in anything like that or free advice, because I'm going to be posting a lot of it, that's where you can check that out.
Cool. And if any of our listeners have a specific question that they want to fire you, do you have an email that they can send that to or something like that?
Yeah, I would. I'd email it to cooktyler@live.co.uk or just comment on one of my Instagram photos. People may believe it or not, but I look at every single comment.
Good.
I'm saying that now. There's only 50, so it doesn't take long. You'd have to be a bit lazy not to look at that. But I look at every single comment. I've got a list myself on my computer there of all the questions I want to answer in my next YouTube video, which will probably be a Q&A, much similar to this.
Bro.
But obviously, it's going to be more niched,
Yeah,
which
cool.
things we probably could cover on a podcast.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah, you find me a question, I'll definitely get over to that.
Awesome.
Definitely include it in the next video.
Thanks very much, mate. So, yeah, I mean, that's been an awesome sort of 45 minutes of finding out what Tyler was about. I really hope that we can speak to Tyler again in the future, because I think he has got a wealth of knowledge, especially when it comes to teen competitive bodybuilding, teen muscle building, and everything in that sort of topic, which is awesome. So if you've stuck around for the full 45 minutes, I'd like to thank you very much for listening or watching. And yeah, that's it from me. So I'll let Tyler check out, and then we'll leave it there.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Obviously, big thanks to AJ. He's doing an awesome thing on the scene right now, posting this kind of stuff. No one else is doing it. Someone has to be an innovator. So big thanks to him for posting it up. And obviously, if you want to get hold of me on any of those pages, then don't be shy. Cool. Thanks again, man.
No worries, buddy. So yeah, checking out Teen Muscle Radio episode 4 is done. Thanks very much, Tyler. And I'll catch you soon. Cheers, buddy. See you later.
Take it easy, man.